So Aisha, why is it that Bermudians seem to be so unhealthy these days? Like what's contributing to that?
That's a good question. I can't say it's these days because I think the trends that we've been seeing as far as our unhealthy trends have been happening for now years, even decades. And we don't get a lot of statistics, but we have had enough to say that high blood pressure is pretty high now. Obesity, 2/3 of Bermudians were obese, those sorts of things. And diabetes is actually also, quite remarkable for our population. So I think it's multifactorial. Because I get to be in this space, I ask myself that question a lot. We have a small, population in a beautiful island. Why are we so much more unhealthier now than, say, our parents and grandparents' generations? Now, I think it's a combination of things. As I mentioned, it's what we eat now. I think activity level, no. There is a really awesome documentary about blue zones. Have you heard of blue zones?
Yes.
Yes? Blue zones are places that we have more centenarians,
Right.
a bigger, higher centenarian ratio, which
Right.
are people over that 100 years old.
Yeah, living 100 and beyond.
And not only are they living 100 and beyond, they're very active. They have the mental faculties. And so these blue zones, which are all over the world. So I think you got Japan, Italy, Costa Rica's got a blue zone. Even America, California, it's got a blue zone. So all of these blue zones, they've been studied, all right? And I've been recently really intrigued to look at what are we missing that these blue zones are doing. And I do think that, our diet has changed. Our activity level has changed. We got more cars on the road. I used to see so many people walking and getting around, and you don't see people walking. I think a lot of people don't feel like it's safe. But what's interesting, though, is there's this aspect of community. And I do think that we're getting truncated. My mom tells me about when she grew up. She grew up in a house where it was her grandmother, her mom. So it was like 3 generations under one roof. And now people don't have that necessarily. And that's big for longevity. I know the more that you have a close connection with your family, that helps with longevity, especially as people are getting older. So you have some places like Singapore, who's looking like, to me, us, like an island, that's, like I said, relatively small and disconnected. But they're actually making sure that their older generation is being taken care of by the younger generations. I think that that's huge. I also think, and I saw this with the pandemic, is our sense of community, togetherness, and connecting with more of our peer groups. I get, I don't know if you know this, but I have the honor to actually take care of or help with the care of mental health, people with mental health challenges outside of who are under Mid-Atlantic Wellness Institute. And so what I found is that once everybody got super isolated, that there was more health challenges and more issues that was creeping up because they didn't have as much of the sense of purpose and community as coming to work and doing things and being involved with the community. So I think it's a lot of things with Bermuda, but it's not just one thing. And I think that's really important for us to know is we can't focus on one thing. I think it's a multifactorial problem, which means I think it's going to need a multifactorial solution.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Yeah.
And so we're here today with Aisha Peets-Talbot of OceanRock Wellness. Mm-hmm. And Yeah, they have a really fun team, really exciting team, very energetic. For those of you on social media, I'm sure you love their Instagram posts. They all seem to be very happy and healthy, and I'm sure that really inspires all the clients. I know I get inspired every time I see them or interact with them, so,
Yes.
so that is great. And they will be participating in the Living Green Expo. They fit within the holistic health space. They've integrated a number of different modalities and approaches in their practice, which seems to be going very well for them and has provided a lot of value and benefit for their patients. So yeah, so I'm really looking forward to having you guys at the expo.
Yeah, we're excited to be there soon to come. But yeah, it's gonna be good.
Yeah, we're
Looking
looking
forward to it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. So again, everyone come out January 28th in Dockyard, in the Shed, Living Green Expo. We're covering a number of different areas of interest, from renewable energy to energy efficiency, sustainable living. We're having organic farmers, a vegan food court, natural health and beauty, holistic health.
Healthcare with your favorite wellness team, OceanRock Wellness.
Exactly. So here we are.
Oh, yeah.
So you guys also get into some pediatrics.
Yes.
So we were talking about health in Bermuda.
Yes.
And another thing that I've noticed is with children.
Yeah.
A lot of children are just out of shape or
Yes.
overweight, and
Yes.
you know what I mean? It's
Yes.
something that I just don't remember seeing
Of course.
before.
No. Children's environments are completely different from our. Well, I'm gonna put you in my age group. Yes. From our generation, and definitely the older generations. And I think you have to be fair with children and even parents who are parenting children. It really isn't as easy. There are so many things that could be stacked against them health-wise, that this is why, you know, expos like Living Green Expo is really important, because it's now creating an awareness. So the question you ask, or the question you are kind of bringing up, is why are kids more unhealthier than they ever were before? Our kids now are exposed to way more chemicals than ever before. So, you know, when we was growing up, we didn't have as much chemicals in our environment. And definitely when our grandparents, you know, and then pre-war issues, there was hardly any chemicals to be really talked about in the environment. But now the amount of chemicals has skyrocketed. And it's really interesting, because as the amount of chemicals that have skyrocketed, we also see the general IQ going down. And that's kind of a concern. And so we used to, there's a study that tests the cord blood. So when a mom is pregnant, so they have the umbilical cord. So that umbilical cord, which is that transfer of blood from mom to baby, when it's tested, they come up with dozens of chemicals in that cord blood. So where we used to think that the placenta was very protective and would keep all the chemicals out, it doesn't. And so now you're getting kids born with all sorts of chemicals in their system. And so just even by that fact, and we know that some of those chemicals are endocrine disruptors. So what that means is that just by having that chemical could potentially cause that kid to be obese. And so when I get kids who are managing obesity, I really start with a detoxification process. But you also have this whole tech industry. You have now radiation exposure like it's never been before. And so kids are now everything's so much tech, and screen time is kind of, you know, in their environment. But also on top of that, you've got all this radiation. And radiation is not good for healthy tissues, right? It damages healthy tissues, and we know that. But we see that continuously as, you know, the environment is evolving. It's evolving to these things. So I find, you know, I have 3 children, you know, ages ranging from 5 to 10. I can't keep them in a bubble. We can't live in a bubble. But what I have appreciate it is the education and the awareness of things that I can do to help to make their bodies more healthy and resilient. So it's, it's, I want to say it's not easy. And I think it's not a simple kind of a solution, and I don't think it's people are lazy or, they're doing, it's not just about, oh, you're feeding your kids the wrong stuff. I think it just goes way beyond that. Yeah.
So it looks like we've given ourselves quite a few hurdles to overcome and challenges, because I remember one time I had to give a presentation to some teachers, and I talked about unintended consequences. So we've made a lot of shifts, especially in the so-called developed countries.
Yes.
In terms of the way we live.
Yes.
And we've looked at these shifts as progress.
Yes.
However,
yes.
in conversations like this,
yes.
we're hearing about all these challenges or unintended consequences that have come as a result of these technological advancements, the proximity we have, the close proximity we have with convenience.
Yes.
And how important that has become. We're very concerned about being comfortable at all times.
Yes.
And, that brings more technology into play.
Yes.
And, and these things have impacts.
Yes, it does.
You know what I mean? And we're seeing that, but a lot of times we're not necessarily making the connection.
Yeah. And it's hard to. It really is hard to. Even making the connection and trying to help people to understand how radiation can be toxic to our tissues. Radiation isn't something that we see. So it's very difficult sometimes. I mean, people, can sometimes be like, oh, peroxide, it stinks, I get nauseous, I definitely know that's a chemical toxin, I'm gonna stay away from it. Mind you, a lot of people still be bleaching their floors and dealing with the toxicity, but I think in a level they know, oh, this is something I should, tread lightly with. But radiation, like for instance, radiation is not like that. And then all the hidden chemicals. So you can have like a treat, like say, an apple pie that seems very, very homely and very confident, but no, that apple pie can have pesticides, insecticides. If you got it if you bought the, if you made the apple pie yourself with organic apples, you're still gonna have a level of insecticides and pesticides in there. And so it's getting challenging because you just don't know, And so it's not an easy world, which is why it's important to just get the information and try to, kind of figure out how you can make some healthier switches and some swaps, knowing that we're still gotta live. We can't, and control what you can control. And we are not living in a bubble, and we can't live in a bubble, so.
Yeah, we interact.
Yes.
So with all that in mind,
yeah,
what are you and your colleagues at OceanRock doing or providing to support people amidst all of these?
Yeah, so one of our biggest things is about community and outreach. Like, we love Bermuda, and you can tell if you follow us on social media, you know that we're all about teaching, educating, and we are a vibe. We're a vibe. So we have some really exciting things to help to reach more of the community. So we're doing some group courses and educational things. And what is really great is we're able to match that also with some testing. So people can now come to us for what we call our nutrition reset. And that's focused on nutrition and food is medicine. We believe food is medicine and medicine is food. So, but it is nice to know numbers, right? So that's where we do our stool testing. And that's amazing because that looks at good bacteria versus bad bacteria. Are you got fungus? Are you got yeast? Are you digesting your food? Great. Are you not digesting it? Great. Is there inflammation? So much information we get. And then you also, because we've also seen people have food intolerance and sensitivity, so that's where you're eating a food that is inflaming your body. Sometimes you don't know. Sometimes people know. Sometimes say, oh, I had that milk or that dairy and I know that flirt my eczema or my joints, that sort of thing. So that's and then hormone testing. So looking at like what's your hormone health looking like. And so this is, options for people to take advantage. And what we've done and which I think is great for us, we knew that if we created something where we can see more people, that we'll be able to outreach more Bermudians. So we're really excited about that. And even some of the e-courses that are helping people to deal with stress. Stress is also something that is on the rise for people. It's also a big challenge. So we have courses like that available too. So that's what we're excited about, and that's what we're focusing on for 2024. So look out for that.
Look out for that.
Yes.
So more group engagement.
More group
community
engagement
interaction.
and virtual engagement and virtual options, so that allow people to be able to kind of get the information on their own time and in their own space.
Right.
And we do group detoxing events, and we do about 3 of those. We'll do 3 of those over the next year, and that's if they want to dive deep and know how to detox. I told you all about all those chemicals. They just say by waking up and just spending the first half an hour or hour in your day, you've already been exposed to 30 chemicals. So that's 30 chemicals in your system. And so you have to kind of know how to be able to detox that on a daily basis.
Yeah.
I just made you nervous?
No, it's interesting. I mean, I'm somebody, I personally, I do cleansing, fasting, things of that nature. And recently, my mom did a cleanse. And she hadn't been feeling well.
Yes.
And so she did this cleanse for a week.
Yes.
And she celebrated at the end. She said, oh my gosh, I thought I was going to die. But what happened was, next day my aunt was calling me and said, thank you very much. Whatever you did with your mom.
Yes.
This is the best she's been, like, it seems like, in a few months.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
So just cleansing and allowing her body to kind of like reset and heal, it transformed like the way she felt and how she's able to function.
I mean, everybody's seen an episode of Hoarders, or maybe not everybody, but if you could imagine an episode of Hoarders, you got all this junk cluttered in somebody's house, they can't function, and that happens to your body, right? And then when you clear all, you cleanse that, everything becomes more functional. Everything works better. We know that. So what I like is we do deep dive cleanses like that over 9 days. But we also teach people how to do a more gentler cleanse on a daily basis.
On a daily basis.
Yes. So it doesn't seem like such a shock to your system. Like, I'm gonna die. No, you don't have to die.
No, that is important. That's something I've also done. Like I just kind of factor in.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So now even when I do a cleanse, it's similar to the way that I function on a regular basis. So it's not a shock to your system.
Right, exactly. Yes. Yeah. You're just upping the ante a little bit more during that time. Yes. No, I get it. No, that's how I live too.
Good thing. So tell me something. With your practice, right? How much now of what you're doing is kind of like helping people with lifestyle management or giving people advice about lifestyle than it is about prescribing things or nature, like?
I would say everything. Every aspect of us is about longevity, but lifestyle management. Prescriptions to us always been a Band-Aid. So, and full well, a Band-Aid ain't supposed to be on forever, they don't even stick that good, some of them. So Band-Aids, any type of prescription or pharmaceutical we want to use for as short as time while we're working on lifestyle management. And because for us, it's all about longevity. And we want to see people learn enough to be able to take control of their health. And I think that's why we focus so much on education and just helping our clients to understand and learn how to navigate it all. So, yeah.
Well, that's good.
Yeah.
So I know you are a trained medical doctor,
Yes.
you know, and I'm sure some of your colleagues are the same.
Yeah.
So how different is your approach
Right.
to dealing with clients today than
Yeah.
it was when you initially were trained and started practicing?
Right. So our team is a collaboration of nutritionists, physiotherapists, and like I said, medical physicians like myself. And our biggest, I guess, and that's designed on purpose because I feel like holistic healthcare should be a team approach. And I use this analogy. I wouldn't, and this is a bad analogy, I know. So just so you know, all the dudes or mechanics around, I'm gonna warn you. This analogy is gonna make probably a little bit of sense, but probably no sense at all too, in a way. But I wouldn't use just a screwdriver to fix my car. Like that's my analogy. Like if it's something that's really broke, I would just, sometimes you need more than one tool, is all I'm saying. And I think when it comes to health, you also need more than one tool. And I don't want to be just somebody's screwdriver, because you probably also need a hammer and you need a socket wrench and, I don't know, a flathead, and that's it for my tools. But you're going to need more.
You're going to need more than one tool, yeah.
Tools. And I think that's the thing about the health and holistic health space. It's humbling. And you have to have humility, and it's really a space that I've seen people practice with not so much ego, especially those who are more on an integrated approach, who are using, who are mashing Western and Eastern health modalities or health healing modalities. And truthfully, we have a team at OceanRock, but our team at OceanRock extends, so it's not unusual for us to work with a chiropractor, acupuncturist, homeopaths, herbalists. We work and encourage our clients to even go beyond our doors and our expertise as well. And I appreciate that, and I appreciate that we are so resourceful. So we might not have all the answers. We might not have every single answer that person needs, but we can help them to direct them to also other tools that they could use on their healing journey. Yeah.
Well, that's positive, yeah.
Yeah.
More integrative. And that's actually a very good analogy, actually.
Yeah. Well, thank you.
It's actually a very good analogy.
You heard that from Eugene. So don't be calling me out on my car and screwdriver analogy. Oh, yeah. It's probably a mechanic being like, we don't even use screwdrivers.
Well, let's talk a bit about the expo, and I guess what can people expect from OceanRock Wellness Expo this year?
Nothing but awesomeness. But no, we're excited. We're gonna show up with one of our diagnostic tools. So we will have the opportunity to sit down with whoever is, brave enough and courageous enough to have a private mini consult with us. We would be doing what we call heart rate variability testing. This test looks at your vascular health, so can help us to pick up plaques and inflammation in the blood vessels. It can also tell us about how well that person is dealing with stress, if they're dealing with acute or chronic stress, and if their nervous system is more in a rest and repair, which is what we mostly want to be in, than a fight or flight, which is more like go, 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 go. And that's obviously not a time where your body can repair and heal itself. We get a lot of information in this test. It takes about 8 minutes to do or run between like the testing and the consult. So we're looking forward to doing that. And then we'll have also some tools or some supplements that we also use that also can help people as well. So we'll hopefully be splitting our table and bringing those two options for people.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So that's great.
You want to test now, innit?
Yeah. No, it sounds very interesting. Yeah.
It's
that's
good
great.
stuff. It's good stuff. It gives people a lot of information. So
Right.
yeah, I really enjoy doing that one. Yeah.
So for people who are not yet aware or familiar with OceanRock Wellness, how can they get in touch with you guys?
Yeah, so easy, fast and easy is our website, www.oceanrockwellness.com. And what's great is that just being on our website, you can get the opportunity to schedule a consultation with us. We do offer 30-minute free consultations. So anybody who just wants to kind of maybe talk out what their health goals or challenges are and what their goals are, then that's a really good starting point. And then also you'll find on our website our links to our social media and our phone number if they want to call too. We welcome that. Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right.
OceanRockWellness.com.
And so, what advice would you give to the general public just about their general health, and why would you encourage them to come out and support and participate in the expo?
Well, definitely participate, because whatever you focus on is what improves in your life, or that's what you create great energy, and that's what you attract. So if you start to focus on holistic health or just living green, period, then you're going to start to bring more and more amazing healing modalities into your life, environmentally friendly things. You heal. It's great, because now you're learning, oh wow, I can heal my body, I can heal the earth. When one person gets healthier, we all get healthier because we're so connected. When one community gets healthier, the whole world essentially is now healthier because we're so much connected. So just by focusing on what you want to see get better is the biggest advice I would give. Yeah.
Well, that's great.
That's what I said. That's what I deliver.
That's what you deliver.
That's what I deliver.
Yeah, it sounds like there's a lot of reasons for people to come out and visit you guys. We're also very excited about the fact that this happens.
Yes.
There's a lot of holistic health practitioners on the island that people are not aware of.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And we're hoping that through the expo, this provides people with an opportunity to connect with it.
Yes.
Also, there's people like, there may be some people that are familiar with you.
Yes.
And they have a general idea of what you're doing, but now through interviews like this and being able to come up to your booth, they can get a lot clearer on exactly what you do, and then maybe learn how they can benefit directly from the services that your organization provides.
And we're grateful, because we've been around for 8 years. OceanRock Wellness has been around for 8 years, and sometimes people are like, who, what? And I think that's why I can appreciate you and your invitation for us to join Living Green Expo, because we still find people don't know us, and I think it's like you said, they just need to be introduced and to it. And so being able to create this space where so many people are going to get to meet people who can, help them with whatever issues they're looking for, or solutions they're looking for, it's awesome. So thank you.
Yeah. Well, my pleasure. And just to pick up on one last thing, you talked a bit about energy, and you talked about how, when one person gets healthier, it helps families get healthy, which helps communities to get healthier, which helps us to get healthier around the world. And it's very interesting. I was watching a podcast about a neuroscientist, and she was talking exactly about that, and how if you put people together, how all of a sudden they start to get more similar, even like with women. You know what I mean? If you put women in close proximity, all of a sudden the menstrual cycle starts to align.
Exactly.
So it's all of these things going on that we don't see.
Yes.
And just like we were talking about, like, the radiation and stuff that we don't see, the negative stuff, there's a lot of positive that happens. And when we bring all that positive energy together, when we bring healers together, you know what I mean? When we bring positive mindsets and healthy food and all of that, and we immerse ourselves in that, we all benefit from that.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
and so we're hoping that this experience helps to bring healing.
Oh, it will.
All throughout the country.
It will. It definitely will. That's the intention. Even you can have, you say you have 60,000 people show up. Like, let's just bring the whole of Bermuda. 60,000 people, even if just one person, it gets better and takes on that's a that's great. That's amazing. Just even that one person, because that one person then will be the trickle for other people. So, and we see that with families. I've seen, I might start working with a child, and then things that we're doing implemented, the parents are like, oh, we're doing this. And then the grandparents, I have 3 generations who have benefited from, just one person's consult or one person's medical attention. I think that that's awesome.
Sure.
And, and it's great. And I think, like you said, you have to also kind of choose your company. You got to have one healthy friend.
Or 2 or 3.
One or 2.
Yeah.
You have one healthy friend. Like, no, because you're more around, like, especially if you're, like, I'm talking about holistic health. So if your focus is on health and you got health challenges, but you got to find that one healthy friend. And then if it's got to be OceanRock Wellness, then it's got to be OceanRock Wellness. We'll be your friend. But, you got to surround yourself with the people that you want. So, yes, so we see that. If you have all your friends are obese, it's likely that you're going to be obese. But if you have your friends are healthy, it's likely that you're going to be healthy as well.
Yeah.
Which is cool.
Yeah.
So you just got to pick your tribe.
Pick your tribe, yeah.
You got to pick your tribe.
That's why my parents used to always say, well, show me your friends and then I'll
show
tell
you who you are.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes, old school wisdom.
Yeah, interesting. So, yeah, thank you very much. This has been wonderful. It's always a pleasure to talk to you.
Yes.
And, I guess Dr. Peets-Talbot always has some very good information, but more importantly, is always very inspiring. So hopefully everyone has benefited from that and takes all these amazing tips that she's given and, writes them down. So maybe you want to watch this episode again and this time have your pen and paper out so you can take notes and then start to slowly incorporate these things into your everyday life. But with that said, I really encourage people to come out to the Living Green Expo. There's going to be a lot of different things going on at the same time. Remember, the events are all starting with some mind-body activities. So there's going to be a yoga practice, there's going to be a qigong practice, there's going to be a 5K walk and run, there's going to be a cycle ride from Hamilton all the way into Dockyard. All the railway trails are going to be opened up, so you'll be able to go through that, just going through nature, nice and peaceful, with your family. These things are open for all ages. Then when you get up there, you finish those activities, you're going to have nice, healthy foods, smoothies, juices, natural foods, all available for you to consume, and all this positive information and people in our local community here who are ready to serve you with sustainable products and services. So, our whole mantra is live naturally, think sustainably, and hopefully your experience at the Living Green Expo can move you along in that way. So thank you again, Dr. Peets-Talbot.
Yes, we will be there.
Yeah.
Yes, we will be there.
Give thanks. And thank you, everyone, for joining us. We look forward to seeing you at the Expo on January 28th in the Shed and Dockyard. All right, give thanks. Peace and love.